Hello and welcome to this vlog post. I told you I'd be back soon. I am narrator, writer and actor Rebecca McKernan, and again I come to you from my living room, and there is a dog snoring in the background, so apologies for that and for any other dog related or otherwise noises that might appear during this vlog. I am so excited to bring to you the latest in one of my favourite writers' new creations. This is Playing the Ghost, written by Johanna Craven. If you're not familiar with Johanna's work, she writes beautiful, dark, historical literary fiction. Um, it's got generally more of a hint of bleak about it, which is right up my street. Um, and she takes inspiration from, well, it's historical fiction, so she takes inspiration from true events and then she creates a world that could have well existed around them. So without further preamble, let me read to you the back of Jo's book, Playing the Ghost. Australia, 1857. Life is brutal on the goldfields of Castlemaine. With death around every corner, people are all too willing to believe in ghosts and embrace the spiritualism movement finding its way across the seas. For Lucy Earnshaw and her husband Tom, their arrival in Australia is marred by unimaginable grief. In the wake of her loss, and amid a failing marriage, Lucy is drawn into the world of spiritualism and theatre, and into the path of dashing young playwright Will Browning. Lucy's new obsession leads her into the dark underbelly of the goldfields, a place where murder and thieving are rife, and no one can be trusted. And as she seeks happiness on the fringe of society, she finds herself entangled in a web of lies and corruption, one she may never escape from. A historical novel of love, loss, and deception from the author of One of Us Buried and Forgotten Places. Both of those available in audiobook form. Actually, Forgotten Places was one of the first books that I ever narrated, and has such a warm place in my heart. A really fantastic book, as is One of Us Buried, and this, obviously. They're all brilliant. I'm going to read to you the first few pages of chapter one. I want to put a trigger warning for this book. I hope you don't mind me doing this, Jo. There is some material that some readers might find upsetting. Not in this excerpt that I'm going to read to you, um, but it does focus on themes of loss. Uh, the goldfields were a difficult place to be, and there was a lot of death, particularly amongst children, younger people. I'm trying to do this subtly without giving anything of the story away, but I feel like it's sometimes important to put a trigger warning in. So if you feel that you might be affected by that sort of loss, then maybe save this book for another time. But with that trigger warning in place, let me read to you the first few pages of Playing the Ghost by Johanna Craven. Chapter 1. Australia, 1857. An accident, they say. Some poor fool trying to blast his way to glory by digging with black powder instead of a shovel. But we can all hear the whispers beneath. Those whispers that poor old Fred Buckley did this to himself, tossed the explosives into his mining claim and leapt in there after them. Another failed attempt at fortune on the goldfields. And now here we all are in the graveyard, gathered around the small wooden box containing all that's left of the men. I haven't seen inside myself, of course, but word is it contains a few brass buttons and a boot that was miraculously blown clear of the explosion. I only met Buckley once or twice, but my husband Tom knew him well, their claims not far from each other's on the western edge of the Forest Creek gold diggings. The morning of Buckley's death, Tom said, he was heading out to start work when the explosion ripped through the air and made the ground move like sea. The vicar murmurs a prayer, and down that sorry little box goes into the ground. Buckley had no wife or children, so there are no tears at his grave, just curiosity and a fairly ceaseless torrent of murmuring. We traipsed back down the hill after the burial, clouds of dust blooming beneath our boots. "Well," says Leo Evans, "if you're going to do away with yourself, that's a damn spectacular way to do it." I've forgotten what accents the characters have. Aye, Ollie Cooper agrees. Something with a bit of drama to it. Let's go to Martha's, says a leather-faced digger who's just introduced himself to us as Clyde. Was poor old Fred's favourite place for a drink. Martha's is a canvas-walled grog shop on the edge of the diggings, a remnant of the days when this place was nothing but a few holes in the ground, and outlawed drink was sold in the shadows. These days, the town's made of more solid stuff than canvas, but Martha's hasn't lost its pull over the locals. "Lucy," Tom asks me, "do you want to go home?" "No." I can't bear the thought of another stilted night in our cottage, where Tom and I make strained small talk before falling asleep with our backs to each other. "You knew Mr. Buckley well. We ought to drink to him." We pile into the carts and traps waiting outside the cemetery and rattle back towards Forest Creek. The sun is lying low over the hills, bathing the scarred landscape in shadow. Trees have been cut away in the scramble for gold, and the earth is a bleak forest of windlasses and tents. The evening shriek of birdsong is beginning in the sparse bushland that remains beyond the diggings. A silhouette of parrots swoops past the wagon. Tom offers me a hand to help me out of the cart. I haven't been to the tent village on the edge of the diggings since we moved into town a few months ago. But one glance at the place, one inhalation of that earth and ash scent brings back memory after memory. Cooking bread in coals out the front of our tent, walls flapping like sails in the night, the constant rattle of mining cradles, of shovels, of footsteps, of men, knuckles and fingernails thick with dirt, and the flies, the flies, the flies. When Tom hands me a tin cup filled with Martha's most vicious moonshine, I gulp it down quickly. I don't want these memories lingering. I'm going to stop there because I could easily read to the end of the first chapter, but I think that might be a bit long for this for this post. I can't recommend this book enough. If you are familiar with Johanna's back catalogue, I, as a reader, found that this book started a bit differently to previous books. For me, it feels like it starts quite light, but it doesn't stay in that place, which as a reader I like. But like I mentioned, oh sorry, just moved the laptop. Like I mentioned previously, don't go into it if you're triggered by things like loss. And that's it. That's it from me for today and for a little while. I am working on some exciting projects. Johanna Craven will have a box set of her 3 Australian historical fiction standalone novels released in audiobook form very soon. They are Forgotten Places, One of Us Buried, and Playing the Ghost. I really can't recommend Jo's books enough. She is a wonderful writer. Which presumably, if you're listening to this vlog, you probably already know that. And anyway, so for now, I shall say adieu. Mwah. Thank you for watching and listening, and I hope to speak to you soon.